Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Russo, and this is the KO podcast, and I am joined once again by the victorious Kamaka III. Just a little quick overview. How are you feeling after that win?
Oh, feels good. Feels good to me, but feels good to win. Feels good to just not, yeah, get the finish. And but the wins are short lived. I already got back in the gym. Uh, and yeah, ready. I'm ready to start my 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 journey to my next fight or my next camp, healthy. Um, and that's all you can ask for.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to start by talking about your leg kicks and how effective they were. It seemed like you really kind of honed in on your opponent's lead leg, so just kind of talk about that.
Um, I leg kick a lot. Um, I leg kick a lot. So like if you watch back to like I started working at Coach Eric, started calf kicking a lot, and the and it, I don't know if you watch like the Danny Chavez fight. I pretty much leg kicked him too. He was done, like pretty much didn't want to fight anymore. And yeah, so and then I don't really watch too much tape of my opponents. Um, but my cousin that was something that he kept repeating to me like in the last 2 days leading up. He was like, um that Ke- Kevin stands kind of tall, and just take out his lead leg first, or take out his legs first, and then um he just that's something that kind of stuck like he said it more than once, so I knew that was something I should have did and I had to do.
And also talking about kind of your movement and your speed advantage, I noticed that you were pretty way faster kind of on your in and out movements than your opponent. Uh did you I know you say you didn't watch tape, but after at least like a round, did you kind of already know that you had that advantage in speed?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have the advantage on speed on most guys, just because I came up from 135, or I not came up from 135. Yeah, I did, but and I just my lifestyle is living a lot more athletic than a lot of these guys, so I feel I was gonna be faster. Um, um, yeah, I feel like we were gonna be I was gonna be a lot faster than him, so um, that was that and so I wasn't too worried about his speed after.
And going into the third round, he obviously knew that he was down 2-0 and he came out pretty fast. Just kind of talk about how you worked through that.
Um, on the third round.
Yeah, when he
Um,
just kind of came out, kind of gave it his all for the last,
yeah,
like for the first minute or so.
yeah. That's kind of funny because my corner was saying that he's gonna come out hard in the first minute and he's gonna give everything he has, and he did exactly that. And so I was just letting him like get out some energy.
Yeah, and just how gratifying is it to finally get a stoppage win or like a TKO win after being in so many very razor thin close fights?
Um, shoot, it feels good. It feels good, honestly. Um, but like MMA is like short lived, or like just the way your career works, like short lived, so you can't sit on the win too long. And Kevin is just a guy, right? Or like the opponent was just a guy. It's like just good to get the win, good to move on to the next stage in my career. I just wanna get to the next get take the next step up towards the rankings. And yeah, that's really what I want to do. I want to get that done right away too.
Hmm. Yeah, and you could just, at least from me watching it on TV, you could just see kind of the excitement and everything that comes with a win, especially a stoppage win. Just can you kind of take us through like your emotions through that point? It must be a lot
Yeah,
going on.
I mean, the emotional side came from just 8 months off. Um, my what like having a new baby again. My four Now I got 4 kids. My wife my kids are more aware of what I'm doing. Um, So it was just emotional to get the win, knowing that they watching, they're aware of what's going on at this point. And my wife, she had like a kind of like a tough recovery after this last pregnancy. So there's a lot that went on behind the scenes that that we went through to, and then even so to get the win was pretty big.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that, obviously you're in there in a fist fight, but there's just so many other factors because obviously every fighter has, a life outside of the cage. So just to fight through that is just super impressive. Um, and as you were kind of talking about you wanted to get yourself to the rankings, what kind of is your plan for 2023?
I don't know. Whoever the next step up is. A lot of these Bellator guys, they fight guys that don't even deserve to be in a rank, or it's just weird. Like you get guys like Lucas Brennan who hasn't fought anybody of any caliber or close to his caliber, his own caliber, right? But he's somehow ranked number 10. I fought Justin Gonzalez, lost a split decision. I'm nowhere near the rankings. I don't know. Co- Cody Law, he was ranked for a long time. He didn't fight anybody in the rankings or anybody close to the rankings, but he was ranked. So I don't know what I got to do to get ranked or what I got to do to have some favor. But I could fight one of those guys that are gonna put me in the rankings. Um, so yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like Justin Gonzalez, he fought he fought me, um, and Aaron Pico prior to his last fight. Like that like that's due for some ranking, I would feel. But like what about the other guys? And a lot of there are multiple weight classes inside Bellator where that happens. So it's like I don't know how a kid who is good, guy has a lot of potential, but hasn't fought anybody, deserves to be ranked, right? Um, so compared to who I fought, I mean, I already just like my first fight in there was John De Jesus, who was beating lots of good guys. Only lost to me and Aaron Pico in Bellator. Um, so yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. So whoever hands out those favors, I gotta talk to them so I can be on their good side, and not only that, or I'll fight those guys.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit not much of a clear vision, and I feel like that's just because Bellator just kind of introduced their rankings. It must have been like a year ago they introduced it, so I feel like it's
But
still kind of working
it doesn't
itself out.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me because why should that? I mean, how do you get ranked from not fighting guys that should that have potential to be ranked, but then so you don't even you get ranked somehow, you know? Um, and then you continually fight guys that shouldn't even be in the rankings as a ranked fighter. It doesn't make sense. Like if you're a ranked guy, you should be fighting guys who are supposed to could break the rankings or are ranked already. You know, and you're just holding on to a ranking spot for no reason.
Do you think a lot of the Bellator fighters since the rankings were introduced are a little bit more wary of where they're ranked and kind of losing that number? Because I feel like that's a little bit of a problem in the UFC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. What was it? I mean, what was your question again?
Oh, it was just like, do you think Bellator fighters are more wary now, like because of those, of that number next to their name being introduced? Because it's kind of like in the UFC, sometimes we see that where guys don't want to fight down or.
I mean, I guess, but there's nobody in There's not the roster's not big in Bellator, so I mean, you don't really have a choice. Um, yeah, you don't have a choice. But the two guys that were doing that, I mean, that were finding guys that they're holding on to rankings was Cody Law and Lucas Brennan. So I don't know, and they continuously get. I mean, they were getting matched up with guys who didn't even deserve to be or they were just getting fed, in my opinion.
And you talked
I
about.
fought Justin Gonzalez in my own hometown,
Hmm.
which I mean that's no problem to me,
Hmm.
but it's a difference of where I will like where I want to be, and me testing myself.
Hmm. And you talked about your cousin. You did most of, if not all of your camp with your cousin Ray Cooper, correct?
Yeah.
So just talk about some of the just like lessons and just how was it as a whole? Because it was this your first time like exclusively just with your cousin, or have you done this multiple times?
I did this like prior to leaving for the UFC. And then it's good. My other cousin, McCall Cooper and Blake Cooper, they're up and coming too, and they're just as good as like they fight at a very high level. They're just young, and experienced. So we have a lot of skill in our group.
Hmm. And uh well obviously so you don't have any specific opponents. It's just kind of like the next step or what can get you closer to obviously what you were talking about was the rankings.
Yeah. I would like to fight like Daniel Whitejo. That's somebody.
That's a good matchup. Yeah. He's a
I would like,
veteran of the sport, over 40 career wins.
yeah, I would like to fight Daniel Whitejo. Uh, somebody like that, or um, yeah, some Daniel Whitejo. I'll fight those other two guys that I mentioned earlier. Um, or I don't know, or anybody. But if I wanna chase somebody that's ranked, I want to fight Daniel Whitejo. So
Hmm. And well, just talking about the new year, obviously there is a Bellator Rising card right on December 31st. So if you just kind of have any thoughts on that.
that would be cool to eventually fight in Japan. My uncles, they have a lot of history in Japan. Um, they fought for Shuto. Um, Shuto's growing. So it'd be cool to go back to Japan and for my family.
Hmm. Yeah, that must be like almost a life kind of changing experience. You're just kind of thrown into a whole different country, and obviously those guys are facing opponents that I mean you can train for them, but it's not like they're in the same organization. So it's kind of cool to see two pretty big organizations coming together and throwing their best guys out there.
Yeah,
Um, and just one more card that I want to kind of get your opinion on. Obviously in February, big card in California. Fedor is going against Ryan Bader for the second time, and it's on CBS. Who do you think comes out on that? Obviously, Bader won very
I
quickly in their first matchup.
think Ryan Bader is just younger, more durable at this point.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
that would be crazy though. If Fedor wins, obviously it's clear that it's going to be his last fight. So if even if Fedor does win, the title's kind of going to be vacated again. So, well, not
yeah,
again, but it's going to be vacated. Then who knows where that second matchup goes with if they're going to put Bader back in there or whatnot. But that's a very interesting card.
yeah,
It's always interesting when Fedor is involved because he's just a captivating person, just a
yeah,
legend of the sport. Um, I mean, he's fought since Pride.
yeah,
He's just I mean, I believe he's like 44. And even in his last fight with Tim Johnson, I kind of counted him out a little bit, but seems like his speed is still kind of there. I don't know
yeah.
if you saw that knockout.
I think his speed is still there, but I think it's not gonna matter too much against Bader just because he's a lot more durable right now. I
Mhm.
just I don't know, this is my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, Fedor's 45. He's taken a lot of damage, so it's not crazy to think that his chin's not going to be able to withstand too much. I feel like he probably has to probably kind of be an anti-wrestler, obviously, but he does have that sambo background, so who knows what Fedor's going to throw out. He could all of a sudden have an armbar, who knows. But
Yeah,
I'm kind of on the same page with you. I feel Ryan Bader's just a little bit too young. He's got really good wrestling. uh his ground and pound is pretty good as well. So that's going to be a really interesting fight for Bellator. So, Kai, congratulations on the win again. Thank you as always for coming on and giving me your time, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, buddy. See you.